Yes, so glad to receive you all today again. So next monthly event for August, we have again some exciting startups on board for today. I'm looking forward to the pitch. So again, as Jan already mentioned, it's 5 startups, 5 minutes pitch each, 5 minutes Q&A. At the very end of the event, we have a voting session. So where the jury, as well as you as an audience, can vote which startup today you found most promising and most interesting. Please keep in mind to try to rate it from an investment perspective. So currently, if startups are all looking for fundraising, which startup would you find most interesting from your perspective, as a business case and pitch, etc. Yes, so just a few quick words about BlockRocket, what we do. Then I will hand over to the jury so they can introduce themselves, and then we will already start with our first pitch for today. So let me share my screen for a moment. Yeah. Does my screen sharing work?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect, cool. Yeah, then just quickly about BlockRocket. I'm Benjamin. I'm the managing director of BlockRocket. We are an early stage accelerator for blockchain startups in Germany. So we focus on startups that in the blockchain segment that operate in the German market and that are very early to fairly early stage. We also invest into startups up to 100K in terms of ticket size, and we offer multiple stages for startups where we can support them, mostly with matchmaking, advisory, and also investments to some extent. Our program exists since 1.5 years in Germany. We picked up traction quite quickly, so we have more than 150 applications so far. More than 40 startups that have worked with us in several or multiple stages of our program. We already executed the first investments for this year, and we plan with 5 to 10 in total. This might be actually increasing in future, starting from 2021. We have more than 200 partner organizations, contacts to pretty much every VC that's related to blockchain Germany. We organize events like on a monthly basis, at least, sometimes even several events per month. And we're active in multiple cities, even though it's a bit redundant right now with Corona. So like pre-Corona, we were mostly active in Munich, Berlin, Frankfurt. Post-Corona, we are active everywhere since everything is online. Yeah, in terms of partners, it's a quite a huge range from infrastructure providers, investors, banks, tech providers, consultancies, other startups, etc. So pretty much everyone who is more or less related to the blockchain community in Germany. As I mentioned, we have several stages. So we're not a classic accelerator in the sense that we have one standard program. There's multiple stages with different degrees of intensity of how much we work together. So there's one stage where we mostly focus a bit on matchmaking. So 6 months. There's more intense stage where we focus on matchmaking, advisory, like continuously giving you warm intros to relevant contacts for a period of 2 years. And there's stage 3, which is cases where we invest also ourselves into specific startups. Yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell from BlockRocket what we do. If you have questions or if you're interested in our program, feel free to reach out to me, to my team, or directly apply to our website. And yeah, that's pretty much from my side for today. So I would like to hand over to the jury to make a quick introduction round. And I would suggest we start with David from Mine Incubator.
Hey everyone, good morning to all the people. My name is David. I'm an investment manager here with Main Incubator. Main Incubator is a 100% subsidiary of Commerzbank, and we are Commerzbank's early stage VC and R&D unit. From an investment side, since 2014, we have invested in 20 startups and are currently holding 18, means we had also 2 exits. Investment range is usually up to 2 million per ticket with an initial investment somewhere between, I don't know, 500 and 750K per ticket. And basically our investment focus is we invest in anything that helps our group or its customers.
Perfect, thank you. Then next is Benedict from Tokentos.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you for having me once more. My name is Benedict and I am investment manager at Tokentos Investment AG. Where we invest in blockchain-based business models with ticket sizes ranging between 100K and 500K. And we've been recently set up and are backed by our 70 shareholders, mostly consisting of executives and founders from the financial and banking sector or the blockchain ecosystem in Germany and Switzerland. Yeah, we are hence an actual smart money investor, always happy to connect with interesting projects. So feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn or via email. I will provide you with the information in the WhatsApp group later.
Perfect, thank you. And then last one, Raphael.
Hi, everybody. My name is Raphael Schulz, and Vcplabs is a global fintech consulting company. We are based also here in Berlin, and our focus is to build and grow the next fintech generation of startups and always connected with blockchain. We do this out of here from Berlin, also reach out to Middle East and with a strong focus of Southeast Asia. So we want to see what's going on now here in Berlin.
Perfect. Yes, then I would suggest I hand over to the first startup for today, which is Michael from Atpar.
Good morning, and thank you for attending this session. Can you see my screen?
Yes, works well.
Okay, still loading. Yeah, ready to go. My name is Michael Svoboda. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Atpar. And we are empowering Amazon marketplaces for financial products in private markets. Let me explain what we aim for. Today in private markets, there are a lot of inaccessible financing and investment opportunities due to fragmented markets and siloed solutions. So for example, if you want to raise and invest in private debt, you have to know where to go. You have to know, have the network to access these deals. So these markets are not really digitized and not efficient. It's like in the days before we had platforms like Airbnb and Amazon. So we are building the infrastructure for private markets 2.0 to make investing and issuing digital securities easier for all parties. We want to bring together these silos and are building an open platform for standardized digital securities to facilitate frictionless private market transaction across originators and asset managers. Let me give you an example what this means for private markets in the future and how all parties can benefit. I will start on the sell side. So there we have originators like lending platforms, car leasing solutions, and they are already today issuing loans on their platform. But in the future, they can alternatively register the digital securities in the decentral depository, which I'll explain shortly. This gives them access to a larger investor base and lets them raise financing faster and at a lower cost of capital. On the buy side, we have, for example, a private bank, which now has easier access to attractive alternative investments. They will have the tools to discover, compare, and combine products to create more diversified and personalized portfolios. And because these digital securities are more fungible, they profit from liquidity. So our secret sauce is a decentral depository with its plug-and-play digital securities. These enable frictionless and interoperable markets across originators and products, which leads to lower cost of production and distribution and creates network effects between players. So it's a win-win for all parties. So what is actually our offering? Our product is an open B2B platform for private market transaction. Actually, what we make, we take the blueprint from capital markets and apply it to private markets. So instead of having a central security depository that brings a lot of efficiency in these markets, we have built an open digital decentral depository. At its heart, we have a securities register where you can record your electronic term sheet, and the depository can process corporate actions and then automate intermediary functionality, like, for example, from calculation and paying agents. So for originators, we have a digital security as a service offering, which lets them issue more digital securities in shorter time at less cost. And for the asset manager, we provide the curation tool so they can discover, curate, and pool securities across the network of private market originators. By bringing this Wall Street tooling to Main Street markets, we make the issuing and investing in digital securities easier, cheaper, faster, and more transparent. With such an approach, players can bring capital markets features and benefits to private markets and unlock the full potential of these markets. We are located in Zurich, fintech from Switzerland. We are a team of 5 people, distributed, and the company is co-founded by the 3 people on top and backed by blockchain VCs. We bring expertise from finance, blockchain, and digital products together. Where do we stand? So last year we did a VC-led pre-seed round to build our MVP. We are on currently 5 POC on the sell side with origination platforms with the goal to bring first clients live in Q1 2021. And we are preparing a seed round to bootstrap the curation network on the buy side, focusing on the private debt. So please contact us if you're interested to participate in this opportunity. Also reach out if you want to be part of this open ecosystem. Happy to give you a demo, help you integrate your solution. And if you want to stay up to date, we are active on Medium and Twitter. And soon we'll have updated information on our new website. So thank you very much, and I will open the floor to your questions.
Perfect. Thanks for your pitch, Michael. Do you, do we have some questions already from the jury?
Yeah, thank you, Michael, for your pitch. I would suggest then to start. Can you give us some more info about your current round? I think 5 million you said. Yeah. I think a couple of this is already subscribed, right?
So we are really in the early days. So really starting the process now. So gathering kind of market information, creating a long list. So we're in the early days.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us some information about your traction? So how is your current revenues, for example? Do you have recurring revenues already through your first pilots that you mentioned?
Yeah, so we have the infrastructure running in test environment. So these are like technical POCs because these clients are also right now building out their solutions. So just to give you an example, we are working with lending solution, with digital crypto banks, with digital securities bank, doing certificates platforms. So they're also building their infrastructure. So they are right now no revenues, and we will go live with the first client, as said, in Q1 2021.
Cool.
And maybe mentioning the business model. So as you might have seen in B2B platforms, it's essential how you bootstrap it. So we really see the need that we bring assets on this platform. So we'll be on that side rather aggressive and see then the business model that scales on the buy side by providing these assets to, for example, as I mentioned, private banks.
And just from my understanding, so you focus on private debt, is that right? So it's debt only?
Yeah, to start with, yeah.
Okay. Well, why is that? Is it easier to regulatorily handle it, or?
Yeah, especially, I mean, from the corporate action side, shares are a bit more difficult if you want to make that. We see there a lot of opportunities, a lot of need for lending platforms. So this is really a demand from lending platforms to have alternative financing options. So they're really open to that, to have additional distribution channels.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Some questions from the jury otherwise, like Raphael, do you have some questions maybe?
Yes, I would like to understand the business model. So you claim to be like you bring the Wall Street to the Main Street markets. So I'm always asking myself what kind of solution my brother, who is not a finance guy, could use. So how are you creating the UX for your product that common people can use it very easily?
I'm not sure if I understood your question correctly. How do we what?
How are you creating your user experience? Like what is your USP in making the people understand to use your solution?
Yeah, so this is a B2B platform. So what we do on the origination platform side, it's API based. So we connect with these platforms. Of course, then the origination platform, so we don't have the end customer. That's why it scales better. We don't have to build kind of the issuers and the investors, because we deal with the intermediaries. So on the originator side, it's mainly API based. On the asset management side, you will have curation tools And this is more seeing the opportunities, filtering the opportunities, comparing the opportunities. This is rather a simple going. Of course, you need to have a good user experience, but these are the more expert user, and it's not a B2C model where you have to onboard consumers.
I can see this. So I was hung up on that also too, but this slide is really explanatory on it. So what you basically do, you, as I understood, maybe, sorry if I rephrase it incorrectly, but you connect with the origination platforms for private debt, and you make it like tradable, and you make it accessible for asset management, basically, in a sentence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool, perfect. Then, yeah, we also reached the end of the Q&A, timing-wise. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out to Michael directly or through the WhatsApp group. And Michael, thanks for your pitch.
Thank you too.
Then, yeah, I would like to hand over to second startup, which is which Eyhab from Breach, who's in Boston right now at 3 a.m. Hope you're still not too tired for your pitch. I think you're muted, Eyhab. I think you.
There you go. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah, can hear you.
I'm just sharing my screen. Perfect. I'm Aejaz. Thank you all for your time. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Breach Insurance. Left prior to starting Breach, I spent 7 years at Liberty Mutual in various leadership roles. You know, the last couple of years that I was at Liberty Mutual, I started to get professionally more exposed to cyber insurance, and on a personal note, started to get more curious about cryptocurrencies and digital assets and blockchain. What I was starting to see was that there was these two layers of volatility in the space. One was associated with the underlying asset value that I think investors have either the stomach for or have investment strategies around. There was a second layer of volatility that I saw that you know, that was more associated with the cyber thefts that are taking place. What you see on the bottom half of the slide are some of the notable exchange hacks that have taken place that have really created a lot of negative press for the space, as well as impacted the overall momentum for the space. Aside from that, aside from exchanges, there's been more recently some DeFi exploits with Balancer, BZX, dForce, but overall, I think what's consistent across crypto and blockchain at this point is that there's a lot of exploits and there's a lack of insurance available for the space. And what we've been doing at Breach is really establishing a company that's focused on insurance for crypto and blockchain risks. You know, even through all that, even through all these exploits and exchange hacks, the market's been quite resilient. It's a 350 billion market cap today, and we see this space as a $5 billion addressable opportunity today, just confined to the traditional cyber theft, and then probably another 5 or 10 billion as it relates to future opportunity, as it relates to the DeFi insurance space. In terms of the role that we're fitting and the value proposition that we're bringing to the product that we're creating, it's really to fit cleanly between traditional insurers and cryptocurrency intermediaries like exchanges and lenders and lending protocols. You know, the value proposition that we believe is really critical is access to additional insurance capacity. Today, there's only about $1 billion in global insurance capacity applied to this space. And generally, there's a lack of consumer protection. And there's a real need for more risk management, both for retail consumers as well as institutional investors. Rafael, you brought up a great question earlier, right, about your brother. You know, we deem, you know, the purpose really behind of what we're creating is to really make it easier for individuals to own crypto and insure crypto like they insure their personal assets, like in the US, FDIC and SIPC protect consumers and investors and their assets. We are trying to create insurance solutions, or we are creating insurance solutions that help individuals protect their assets, whether they're being traded at an exchange being borrowed from a lender or invested through some kind of lending protocol. The really big important thing to note is that primary insurers and reinsurers aren't really investing resources and capital at scale to the space. And then you have crypto native individuals that don't have the background in insurance to be able to provide insurance at scale for this market. So we fit this really unique niche in the middle that's able to bridge the gap between the two spaces. The way that our product works is our first product is a direct-to-consumer product that allows individuals that are users of exchanges or lending platforms to be able to buy insurance that protects their assets that are sitting at exchanges. This can be bought direct to consumer. It's going to be able to be bought as an integrated experience through the user journey of an exchange or a lending platform, and down the road, lending protocols as well. What we're also doing is working with insurers, major reinsurers, both in the US, and there's an insurer that we're talking to in the Netherlands as well, and starting conversations with insurers in Germany to offer this product as an endorsement to traditional homeowners and renters insurance. Today, you all have homeowners or renters coverage. There's typically a line item that protects unscheduled personal property. Think your bike being stolen, or a piece of inexpensive jewelry that's stolen. You have a base amount of coverage that allows you to recoup funds through that coverage. And what we're working with insurers to do is to be able to offer that as an endorsement on top of that. So maybe 2,000 euros of crypto coverage as part of your traditional homeowners or renters coverage. The track that we're going, the path that we're tracking is, our exchange product is complete. The technology is ready. Our product pricing, underwriting guidelines, claim processes are all complete. We're now finalizing our insurance facility to be able to bring this product to the market in the US, as well as engaging with global insurers to be able to expand the product into other markets. And we've had some really great conversations, early conversations, and some early wins with partners on the lending side to be able to offer a similar product for DeFi as well. So really excited about the traction and progress that we've gotten to date. I've talked about myself. My co-founder is Ian Fraser. He's a financial services crypto technology guy. He's been in the space for the last 25 years, and he and I are building this together. We've got some cool partners in play, a cybersecurity expert who ran the cybersecurity program at the Pentagon in the US in his prior life, and then was the CISO at a reinsurer after that. And then there's an insure tech that we partner with, Boost Insurance, to help us put together the insurance facility, the first one in the US, and then also a global reinsurance platform called Names that's going to further allow us to gain access to additional insurance capacity. That's us. Sorry, I know that was a lot, but I've included my contact information here for anybody that's curious and has any questions after this.
Great, thanks a lot for your pitch.
Yep.
Yeah, let's jump right over to the jury section. Do you have any questions?
Could you?
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say then I'd start again. I got a couple of questions. So first is why do you focus on a B2C market? So why don't you just make it as an intermediary to other reinsurers or insurers?
Yeah, there's a tremendous opportunity there. And the reality is that I don't believe that risk is ready to scale yet. There's a lot of risk concentration that takes place in B2B at this time, and I think it will be great risk down the road. But at this time, and I actually have a slide that touches on this. So this slide demonstrates what you see today in insurance on the commercial side. These 5 exchanges, for example, that are being illustrated here, may have insurance that cover them on a B2B standpoint, on a commercial standpoint. Let's say that one of these exchanges was hit with a $100 million hack. An insurance carrier would be on the hook for that $100 million. The way that our product is designed, it allows insurers to enter the space without that concentrated risk. So they are on the hook, but only on the hook for individuals that have opted into the insurance solution versus on an aggregated basis. So there's just a better diversification of risk. And what we believe it's going to do is allow more insurers access to the space to be able to make it more scalable and take the insurance capacity that $1 billion today and get it to 5, 10, $20 billion, which is really what we need.
But so as far as I get it, it's not a blockchain solution itself. So you don't whatever use oracles and smart contracts.
That's right. No, it is not a blockchain solution. We're leveraging the traditional insurers and reinsurance as our balance sheet. So think of it like traditional insurance, but we're insuring crypto assets.
And who's your carrier?
We're still finalizing that at this point. There's a facility called Boost Insurance that we're working with, as well as Marsh, to finalize a facility. But we've got 2 soft commitments to date, and we're looking to finalize that facility over the next 4 to 6 weeks.
What is the expected loss per customer?
So, and that's because of our model that you're seeing here. That's the most attractive part of our product. The losses that we're modeling are going to be in the 10 to 12% range. To compare to traditional insurance products like home or motor/auto, you see loss ratios around 60 to 70%, and sometimes upwards of 80 to 90%. When there's higher catastrophic years. So highly profitable product, primarily because of the way that it's designed. And we think that that's also going to allow us to push price down and get more competitive, and allow us to make it more broadly available as well.
Interesting. Thanks.
No, great question. Thank you.
We need to head on soon. Is there a quick question from Rafael or David that you really like to ask, or no? Okay. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Thanks a lot for your pitch. Then yeah, I hand over next would be Marco from Bernstein.
Good morning, everyone. Sharing my screen in a second. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for the opportunity to present Bernstein today. My name is Marco Barulli. I'm the founder and managing director of Bernstein, a Munich-based company that is looking at intellectual property asset. Actually, what we try to do is to change the idea of IP being a one-time activity, while we know and innovators know that is something they have to take care on a daily basis. So we have companies that are using IP every day when they're hiring someone, we're licensing the technology, when they're raising funds, and we want to help them to mitigate, to neutralize the risk that are involving IP assets when dealing in these activities. And this risk might come from multiple directions, from patent trolls, but more likely from loyal employees, let's say difficult partners, and so on. In the end, what we have built to address this very strong need is a certification platform, a one-click certification platform that is enabling everyone to prove existence, integrity, and ownership of any IP asset by leveraging the blockchain. And also we are complementing this blockchain-based certificates with also timestamping, digital timestamping issued by international authorities. We have now integrated already the European Union authority and the Chinese government authority, and more will come later this year. We also know that certification in itself is not enough. We want to give our user the ability to prove, to conveniently recover and move back and forth in time and prove what the status was of the knowledge in any project. So what we give them is this very secure repository that is not leaking any information to any third party, not even to Bernstein itself, because it leverages this very unique architecture where everything is encrypted on the browser before reaching our server. So they can move from one version to the next, proving status, and it's very easy to use as any Dropbox or Google Drive experience you might need. So no exposure to the complexity of managing cryptographic keys or anything else. And it's of course unlimited. So in the end, what the innovators is able to achieve is able to build this trail of blockchain records for any innovation process, no matter what kind of digital files of any format, any size, is able to prove the evolution from the very early stages to the final outcome of a R&D project. We are serving directly through the web as a software as a service innovators, but we are also offering the same service as a white label to those that are already working next to innovators, mostly law firms, but also incubators, innovation platform, and so on. Right now, we have launched the service roughly 2 years ago. Since then, we have amassed a few tens of clients. We have now about 150K of sales. And what we notice is an amazing success rate with inbound leads. So our goal, and also one of the main reasons for this fundraising, is to put Bernstein on the radar of as many innovators as possible, of as many law firms as possible. Here is just a selection of our clients. White label clients are mostly from law firm and IT service providers, but also incubators and innovation agencies. You see we have clients already in any continent, from Europe to Saudi Arabia to US. And we also, of course, serve clients from small startups, design firm, large corporation, and also research institutions. The team is very small. It's 3 founders, and now we are growing a network of representatives in different countries. We have Marco Croella covering Italy. We have now 2 people in India and Singapore, another one covering the Gulf countries, and so on. We also have a very nice bunch of real advisors from the industry, helping us to shape the product and the strategies. Right now, we have a very clear go-to-market. We want to reach out to partner clients through the white label. We also want to reach out to direct clients mostly through online channels. In both cases, is a software as a service model, mostly based on subscriptions. I don't have to tell you how big is the market for IP, and I don't have to tell you, I'm sure, how disruption is eating this segment that has been very traditionally managed for a long time. Even large institutions like the WIPO are aware of this. Of course, we have a lot of competitors, both incumbents and new startups. We are better of any of this for a lot of reasons. You can read here. Mostly is that the main reason why we are ahead is because we have been focusing specifically on industrial IP and the need of this market since 2016. And that's why we know what we need to bring and why we have such a good product market fit for our solution. Right now, we're trying to raise 1 million. In the past, we raised a total of 600K from multiple investors, both angels and funds. We have already commitments of 200K from the existing investors. So what I'm saying here, Bernstein is a very good investment opportunity right now because we have a market-rated product, we have a clear go-to-market strategy, and Corona, in one hand, is also accelerating the transition to alternative way of managing IPs. So we hope to have a very good future in front of us. Here are my contacts, and I'm happy to take your questions now.
Perfect timing. Thanks for your pitch. Yeah, do we have some questions?
Sorry, David here. Hi. Could you maybe elaborate a bit more on the business model? So what do you charge per customer?
Yeah.
It goes by seats, or how does it work?
Yeah. The model is very simple, depending if we are serving a white label client or a direct client. For direct client, the only parameter for charging is the number of certificates they're creating. That is the number of snapshots they take of a project or of as many projects as they can have. So basically, we sell these credits for creating certification either as a subscription where they get the new credits every month, or as bundles, so to give them maximum flexibility. So you might have, I don't know, a subscription with 10 credits per month, and then you also have a 50 credits bundle in case you have a peak in activities to make sure you're able to always have a good proof of what you have in your company in terms of IP assets. With white label clients, it's basically the same. We charge the white label owner and with a monthly subscription or yearly subscription, more likely, that also include a certain amount of credits, and these credits are consumed collectively by the clients of the law firm or by the startups of the incubators and so on. On top of this, there is of course a reasonable one-time setup fee for the white label.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and maybe from my side a question. So, what can you do to upsell your existing clients? Or what are you doing?
Yeah, good, because I have a bonus slide here. Okay, so right now we have this average still of a few hundreds for direct client and a few thousand for white label clients. What we're going to add, next we're going to add the ability to defensively publish their IP, to establish prior art and copyright, and we're going to leverage IPFS. So this is a combination of Bitcoin blockchain and the IPFS to have this certificate that proves that something has been made publicly available and everyone can check this claim. We also want to enter the IP insurance space because this is a very huge opportunity where basically I mean, everyone says we live in the intangible economy, but when it comes to providing insurance to intangibles, you have basically nothing on the market. And what you can use Bernstein is the ability to leverage our certification to identify the asset that then you want to insure. And then the next step is also to add the non-fungible token so that we may start transacting with the asset represented by our certificate and so on. So there are a lot of opportunities for growing the sales to our clients in the future.
Thank you.
I have a fast question on the market growth. I saw you have lots of competition. So what are the main target markets for you to be #1 there?
Okay, yeah, this is how we're moving. So right now we are ready to serve just a small portion of the potential market. This portion is made mostly of small and mid-sized law firm, and also incubators, accelerators, and also a tiny fraction of creative and high-tech businesses. Moving forward, we will improve our product, adding more enterprise-grade feature so we can start addressing those. So it's a combination of awareness on the market, a feature on our side that will enable us to transition from the current, let's say, early adopter of this technology to a much larger market. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, nice. We have also one audience question, maybe like regarding that. How do you specifically like prove ownership? If that's an audience related question. Maybe you can explain this like in just 1 or 2 sentences again.
Yeah, sure. When you set up your account on Bernstein, basically you also have to pick an encryption key that is never shared with anyone. And starting from this encryption key, we are going to create a wallet, a hierarchical deterministic wallet that is exclusively controlled by you. Of course, our user is totally unaware of this Bitcoin wallet that is the exclusive owner. So he doesn't need to know. He can, of course, and he has all the tools. So basically, every time he sends a transaction to the Bitcoin network from his browser, he's assigning this transaction with his own private key. So that's why how they prove that they were the entity in control of those assets that are represented by a cryptographic key within the blockchain transaction that is pushed to the network. And similarly, they are signing the request that is pushed to the timestamping authorities of different governments. So they are always able to prove that not only those documents were existing, but they can only prove that they were the one submitting those transactions and those certification requests.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Then yes, thanks for your pitch. We head over to Holger from Digi Options.
Okay, thank you. So hi. That's great. So welcome to Digi Options. Digi Options is an online betting platform running on blockchain. And there are two things special with it. First, we are totally user-driven, meaning the users themselves, they can create the betting markets they like. Indeed, it's our vision to have a huge universe of betting markets on stocks, sports, politics, anything you can imagine. Second, we are using blockchain technology, so we are totally decentralized, being transparent and secure. And we also found a solution for the counterparty risk problems. We eliminated that too. This is what a betting market looks like, but I would prefer to give you a live demo in a minute. So how to bet on Digi Options? First, you simply need to get a crypto wallet, either for Ethereum or for Thundercore. That's the two blockchains we are offering. Then you need to deposit your currency, and finally simply take a bet just by clicking on it. So it's simple and there's no registration. What we built, indeed, it's a bundle of technology. So of course we have some smart contracts. We have a peer-to-peer protocol, a web GUI, and we built an automated market maker in order to fill up the order book so that you go there, you are able to bet immediately. And we integrated some oracles. The business model, so we are an exchange. We simply earn transaction costs, in general, a bit below of 1% of transaction volume. The market is huge. There are 14 million online traders, and we address them via online marketing, especially native advertising. From the milestones, I would just like to mention that last year we got acknowledged by German supervisory authority. The next step will be scaling up. So this is our team. My brother Ulf, he's a tech guy and he's a crypto expert, and I'm the finance guy. And we've been founding fintechs before. Now let's have a look at that. So now I'm on the Digi Options app. Currently we have some markets for cryptocurrencies. So I would like to take a bet on the first one. I would like to bet on Bitcoin, and it's a monthly market. So I will bet on the final close of the Bitcoin by the end of the month. As you see in the last hours, Bitcoin hasn't been moving too much. I'm expecting to go it down within this lightly shaded range. It costs me just 0.07, so there's a 7% probability of that event occurring. I will accept that. By a tiny fraction, 0.1. Currently, I have 0.3. Just have a look here. I click buy now, and I have to accept that via MetaMask, and in a minute you will see that the transaction has been sent to the platform and processed. You can see that in the trading history. So that's today, and that's the last transactions we got. So it's quite fast and quite simple. And yeah, I just wish you happy trading. Thank you.
Thanks for your pitch, Holger.
Yeah, thanks, Holger. I would just jump in and tell you that you just lost money because you bet on Bitcoin going down. So wrong bet.
Yeah, of course, some bets are wrong, some bets are right. The nice thing is we are on the banking side, so we're on transaction costs.
Yeah, that would be my first question, to be honest. Who's your counterparty? Who do you trade with?
So in the first step, all you can see, all bets are offered by our market making bot, so we would be the counterparty. But there's a high risk management and risk limitation beyond. So if we got too much exposure in this range, we will decrease prices for the other ranges, so risk will be strictly limited. And in future, we hope, of course, that users won't not only accept bets, but also offer bets. So they will be matched against each other, finally. But we need to have liquid markets, so that's why we'll fill up the order book immediately.
So that means that coming from this, from the sports betting, from the gambling side, that your payout ratio is 99% if you say that you have just a transaction fee, or does this mean that you indeed get your coverage, get your counterparty from somewhere else and just take a transaction fee of 1%?
So indeed, the final idea is just to earn 1% transaction costs. And offering some bets is just a measure in order to provide liquidity for newly opened markets. Yeah, that's it. And we learned 10 years ago, when we've been market making for another German online betting company, that liquidity matters. And compared to some competitors like Augur and Gnosis, we see you should have liquidity in your markets. That's what we learned.
How do you calculate option prices?
So that's a matter of probability. So we have our own formulas behind. For example, you can see that there's a 46% chance that Bitcoin will close above 12,000 by the end of the month. So we have an expectation, we have a volatility, and from that we derive a probability, and that is adjusted by our risk manager finally.
Okay, so you forecast the volatilities by yourself, or do you check implied volatility somewhere else?
In future, we will also use implied volatilities, but we will use implied volatilities from our own markets and not from other exchanges, because we have some quite special markets.
Okay, so you forecast them yourself, yeah? You model volatility.
It's not an active forecast. We're not expecting a certain direction. It's more a sideways forecast in general. So we would like to earn money by earning transaction costs and not by betting.
Interesting, thanks.
All right, are there any questions from Raphael or David?
Yes, I have a question. The actual round. So what are the next steps in bringing this to the next level? What you would like to do as the next steps?
So we would like to raise up to 2 million euros, and the money will be mainly used for marketing, because what we got is our MVP. It's working and it's live, but we need to scale up and to address people, and that's the main reason why we are looking for venture capital.
And are you aware of the cost of acquisition for new customers? Did you made already some checks on that?
The cost of what, please?
The cost of customer acquisition. Like, did you already pre-check that?
So we are expecting, we got some first impressions. We are expecting a bit more than 100 euros of acquiring one customer, and the customer value is about 300 to 400.
Thanks.
Understood. All right, thank you. Any questions from you, David, or fine so far?
So I'm not a trader, but in this kind of matter. But you said that it's like probably open to all industry, not only Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
So what would it take you to, for example, adapt the model to, I don't know, esports or traditional sports? Is it like pre-built, or would you need to also build the product and or the engine, so to say?
It's totally pre-built. We just need it roll out. So we would like indeed to offer bet on politics, like will Trump win the next elections again?
Okay.
However, when it comes to sports betting, our legal point of view is we would need a special license. So that's another topic. For that, we would like to have a strategic partner.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
If we have time, that would be another question. How are you regulated it?
So we are a service provider and a marketing company from a legal point of view. So we put our software, it's open source, on the web, and there are some parties opening up the market, and they might be regulated. They are not regulated yet. So it could be private persons from any jurisdiction. Still, we would prefer to look for strategic partners to open up betting markets. And indeed, we just partnered up with Thundercore blockchain. That's a blockchain I was just using, and they will help us to get into the market.
Okay. Yeah, understood. I would suggest we pass over now to last startup, just to be sure to be in time. Thanks a lot for your pitch. Thanks for the questions. If you have follow-up questions, again, go to the WhatsApp group or feel free to contact Holger directly. Yeah, last pitch for today is Till from Classic Token. I think Till, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Unmute.
He's still muted.
I'm asking him to unmute.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
now we can hear you. Yes.
Awesome. So welcome everybody. As you can see, I'm staying right in front of those beautiful timeless cars, also old timers and supercars. And that's
your
actually the top.
Too.
My what?
Your camera's off. We can only see your slides.
Oh, my camera's off.
There you go.
We need this background. Just wait a second. Oh, so now let's start.
Now we can see your background. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So hi everyone, I'm Till, and it's really nice meeting you and nice pitching in front of you. And as you can see, I'm staying right in front of those beautiful cars, and that's what we are from Classic Token are going to talk about today. And first, I think it's really important to explain to you guys why we do the things we do. And by why, I don't mean profit, because profit is a result. And therefore, I brought you this beautiful picture of the Ferrari GTO and tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I went on family vacation with my friend Tom and his family, and we went to California, and it actually happened that I was live at the auction of this beautiful car. And when they set up this car, I realized how beautiful of a thing this car is. And when the car actually got sold for 38 million euros or dollars, which is actually the most expensive car ever got sold, I realized that I will probably never be able to own such a beautiful thing. And therefore, a couple of years ago, we have this vision that we would like to make it able that everyone in the world will be able to own a piece of such a beautiful car and also participate on the growth of value that brings the car with it. And as you probably know, old timers are very rare and they are comparable to art. So the supply is fixed, and when the supply is fixed, we can admit that in the future, the value will grow. And therefore I brought you this index that points out that luxury cars and old timers over the last 15 years increased more than 289% in value. And then we brought up this question, why is not everyone able today to participate on this growth of value? And this is the status quo today. So when we have old timers and luxury cars, the access through those beautiful pieces of art is not given, because you need a really high expertise and a network around the whole world. And also you have really, really high initial cost. And that means that you, if you would like to invest in this asset class, are not able to diversify your portfolio because you have such high costs in the beginning that it's tough to buy more than a couple of old timers. And it also, when you buy those old timers today physically, they come with a lot of costs, a lot of transaction costs, transport costs, restoration costs, and so on. And therefore, we decided to put up a new way to set this thing up. And first, I would like to introduce you one of my partners, Thomas Rosier. He is probably the most passionate car guy that I know. His family is selling cars almost 100 years, since 100 years. And Thomas has started selling old-timers when he went to college in California in 1986. So you can see we have an old economist on this team that has a really high and unique expertise with those asset classes and old-timers. So what we did, we connected Thomas with a very, very well-known blockchain expert that we will announce soon. And then together we set up this whole process that I would like to show you. So let's say we have someone who owns a car and he wants to set free this liquidity. So how is he doing it? So we wrap this car around a token on the blockchain, and this will generate a process that in the future, everyone will be able to own a piece of an old timer and participate on the growth of value by owning the equity. And it is also important that we would like to provide this dream and vision through the easiest way as possible. And therefore, we will set up the front end with an app that everyone can buy through their phone, a piece of old-timer that they always take with them. And so what provides this tokenization of this asset class? So one important aspect is that with the tokenization, you are now able to buy shares of these old-timers, fractional shares. That means that you can buy a little piece of something and do not have to bring the whole starting investment with you. Also, you are allowed now to diversify your portfolio. That means that if we have different old-timer tokens, you as an investor will be able to pick some of those tokens and combine them in a basket and set up a portfolio. You also can bundle those assets and make it a collectible token. And furthermore, it is really important that you are now able to buy a car, own a car from anywhere in the world without going to the car dealer in Germany, for example. And this also provides less costs and way more liquidity that we will create on the secondary market. And if you would like to have one sentence, what makes our business a business and what is our vision, then we definitely stay for that every investor will be able to own a share of a timeless car with a small minimum amount and will be able to participate on this growth of value. And so the next question is, what makes it a business? When you tokenize an asset like this, supercar or old-timer, you have always two options. One option is tokenizing the debt, which is basically like you lend someone money, he buys something for you, and you participate maybe on the value, but you never have a real identification with something because you actually never owned it. And then we have this other beautiful option that we can tokenize the equity of the car so that actually everyone has the right to own a little piece of something. And how do we make money? First of all, as you can see, our combination team is owning the assets. We would like to make it happen that everyone who is owning such a beautiful asset will be able to implement it on the blockchain. And furthermore, we will create a secondary market that provides liquidity and will profit by the trades that our future customers who want to own a car will purchase this car. And last but not least, I brought you a best practice. You see the car actually also in the background. This is a very, very unique icon of the Mercedes-Benz company. It's a 300 SL Mercedes-Benz Goldwing. Very beautiful car, very unique. And actually in 1954, it was sold for $29,000, which is by inflation today, 145,000 euros. So as you can see, this car has a value today of 1.9 billion euros. We have an extremely high growth over the last couple of decades of 1,300% roundabout, which breaks down to an average return of 20% a year. And this is the basic project that we are doing in the futures, setting up these nice cars, bringing them on the blockchain and make everyone able to participate on the growth of value of old-timers as an asset class. And if you would like to stay in contact with us or have further questions, just hit the QR code and we will answer them all. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for your pitch. So great. Before we jump to the Q&A session, now is the time for voting. So Jan, can you please set up a voting poll for the audience? So you as an audience have now the ability to vote for which startup you found most interesting or promising from an investment perspective today. And we will combine that result with the scoring of the jury. So now's the time to fill out the Google form I've sent you. Take a minute or two, fill it out, and then once it's complete, while we evaluate the scores, we can jump already to the Q&A session.
Right.
Okay. Jury voted is already complete. So we still have, let's give another 30 seconds for the audience, and then we hand over to the Q&A.
It's not Q&A, so I think.
Actually, you can already start the Q&A. It's fine. Like from the jury side, if you have questions, now's the time. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to put forward some questions from the audience. So what happens if the car sees unexpected costs, like whatever, it has to be polished, it has to be set up on stage, on an event, on a ferry, or anything like this? So who does cover those costs?
We as a company have also to provide the custodian of the car. So if you would like to invest in this car, you have to put it away and care for it, that it always stays in the right and nice condition. And there will be no costs for customers and investors in this way.
I have a question to your target customers. Are you targeting the Silver Surfers or who is it?
Can you be a little bit more specific with your question, to be honest?
Sorry. What is your perfect user? What is your target user?
All right. So basically, everyone in the world should be able to own a piece of oldtimer and to participate. And that's the nice thing with blockchain. We can set up this whole process that even you as a small individual are able to invest, but also wealth managers, family offices are now able to invest in this asset class diversified, and we can bring this product on the capital markets. Yeah.
I'll do maybe one question. I have really no idea about classic cars like yours, but just from an asset perspective, like, wouldn't it be much more interesting to invest in, for example, art? Like, why did you choose classic cars as an asset? You can basically do every asset.
Yeah, of course. To be honest, our team sees classic cars as art. So those cars are, for example, as you see here on the left side, this car is older than almost 100 years. It was actually built in 1929. So we have this huge time frame already, and therefore we see the beautiful and the things in the cars, and all are passionate about it. And we also can see that the old timers have revenues that are comparable to those arts. And therefore we see the old timer as a new asset class that is comparable to art. It's a tangible asset like art, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's one of a kind cars, you know. those access that you need to get those old timers is you really need this high expertise that Thomas is bringing in with his team, and that he's dealing with for more than 50 years already.
Do you have any form of USPs towards your competitors? For example, I know CurioInvest, for example, also.
I think I tried to explain this. So what we saw on the market is that today, when people try to do this with old timers and supercars, they do project financing. So I'm a finance guy as well, and we saw that they always crowdfunded the money, and then they bought a piece, and then they sell it, and you participate on it. But that's not how we want it, because also you first as an investor do not have the choice when you want to buy or sell. So basically, when this car gains in value and the other dealer is saying, all right, I already made my profit, I sold it, you as an investor are not able to participate when he sold the car. But now in the future, you will be able to make your own decision. How long do you believe in the growth of value of those unique old timers?
There's an audience-related question that asks if you can rent cars for specific events. So just to be clear, there's only specific for investments, right? They're not up for use. That was my understanding, at least.
So when we start to set up this as an investment case, you can't use the car that you are investing in. But the beautiful thing about this blockchain and this whole tokenization is that we can write in the code in the blockchain that provides rights of some beautiful things. For example, Thomas is also a real car racer, so he gets access to all those events that are really famous, like Mille Miglia or Le Mans. And we can put some rights in the token that you will be able to participate on those events in the future if you believe in our project, for example.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks. Then, yeah, for more questions, feel free to post in the WhatsApp group and approach Till directly. And we're also happy to make an intro. So for anyone who is participating today, you can also contact us, BLOCKROCKET, if you would like to be introduced to someone. Same goes for you guys. Yeah, we have evaluated the scores. Close call, all a good performance today. So thanks a lot for attending. And the winner is for today, Eyhab with Breach. So it was worth staying up until 3 a.m. at night, I guess. Congratulations. From our side, we're super, we do this on a monthly basis, so we are very happy to make write an article about you and to post it basically everywhere in our network. I'm also happy to make introductions subsequently to this. So yeah, at this point, I will approach you after the pitch. We will figure this out later. To everyone else, to the participants, to the Disrupt Network, to the startups, and of course to the jury, thank you very much for attending today and for your contribution and performance. And at this point, I would like to hand over to Jan, who has maybe a few more words about Disrupt. You're muted, Jan. You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, this shouldn't happen to the moderator. Yeah, so also, thanks, Ben. Also from my side, thanks a lot for coming. I always love how fast-paced the pitch events are. I hope to see you again at our future events. So let me give you a quick overview. Next week, we'll discuss secure infrastructure for digital assets on a panel discussion. And we also have a blockchain patents and innovation topic with an expert from the US. So I'm excited to see many of you there as well, and let's keep this this series of digital events rolling. Thanks a lot for joining, especially for the jury and the speakers. I hope you learned something new, got some new insights, got some new connections maybe in the aftermath of this event, and I wish you a great weekend.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
See you at the next event. Bye-bye, guys.
Guys. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.